do your homework. Especially if you're trying to go in the restaurant business, which has a very, very high failure rate. I would urge you, if you're trying to go in the restaurant business, either already be in it, working for somebody so you actually understand the business, or go to work in it, or if you're going to have a partner, make sure your partner works in it. But there's been a lot of people who just want to own a restaurant because there's something romantic about that, and it's really, really hard work and has a really high failure rate. So do your homework. Make sure you're capitalized, because most businesses, they just don't have as much cap. They think they can do it for this, but it really takes this, and all of a sudden then they don't have the capital to survive the first year, or don't think you're going to open a business and suddenly just start, I got a great paycheck coming in now, because sometimes you don't get a paycheck for a long time. And so I think make sure you're well capitalized and do your homework, talk to people. If you're having a building done or tenant improvements, make sure you really know what they're going to cost, because those things tend to spiral out of control pretty quickly. So have a business plan and stick to it. Yeah, I think you go back to the basics first off. What's our mission? What's our core business? What are we here for? Whether we're doing widgets or hamburgers, what's our core business, and be really good at your core business. So that's what we're working on here, is to get back to the core business and be really good at the core business. And the bells and whistles to me come after the basics. So that's good food, timely, creative, good service, great attitude, professionalism. But yeah, I think every business is like that. You got to execute the basics first. You got to be consistent. I think a hallmark of every great business is consistency. Whether, again, selling clothing, selling food, whatever, it has to be consistent. If you have a great experience one time and a poor experience another time, do I go back and see what the third experience is going to be like? Or one person's going great, one person. Great service to me always has a sense of urgency about it. So again, whether you're taking care of somebody in a retail environment or a food environment, great service means I want to take care of you. I want to take care of you quickly, expediently. I want to help you. Nothing lackadaisical about good service. The basics of the restaurant business I learned from McClintock's. I started working for F. McClintock's in '86. I spent 5 years with him, and we built.
In a business capacity or?
Manager.
Manager?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of the downtown saloon, and we built that from. We about tripled the food volume there in the 5 years. So we built it into a really busy place, and it was just good basic food, but we made it good. We had a fun atmosphere, and then we opened my first restaurant. We opened 2-3 restaurants after that, and the big learning curve. Owning your own is different than working for somebody else. You're still taking care of customers, but then you got to do books, then you got to work about finances, and so it's a steep learning curve. We kind of jumped in, and it's been great, but steep learning curve, sure.
What other restaurants do you still?
This is it right now.
This is it right now.
One's enough. As we get older, one's enough.
How many? What were the names of the others?
We had Gus's Grocery for 28 years. We had Cisco's downtown in the early 90s to the late 90s. We had a little Italian place across the hall from that. Then we had a second Cisco's on Taft, I think. So at one time we had 3, and that I felt like I was kind of working for the employees at that point. With that number of employees, we started having children ourselves, so we just decided it was time to downsize, and we downsized all the way to Gus's, and we had Gus's for 28 years. So.
Is it hard to let those go?
Yes and no. We'll always have great feelings about Gus's because, my wife actually started that right before I met her, and it's always been her baby, and she worked hard there to make it successful. But she had just gotten kind of tired. 28 years in the same building, and she was. I left it up to her, and she just decided that she was ready to do something else. We didn't really know what we were going to do, but we sold it, and she didn't really know what she was going to do. But we hung out for a couple months, and then decided we would do this.